co-trustees. And here's how that would work. You would have the professional trustee be the one that says no to Rusty, her husband. You would have Alice be the one that manages the investments and the money. And Alice would love that. Can you imagine? Rusty comes to Alice after she's inherited her almost $500,000, and Rusty says, you know, I just went to the franchise show at the Kurgan Exhibition Hall, and I saw this deal, and I want to invest in it, and I need $250,000. Can I have that out of that inheritance? Well, what does Alice say at that point in time? If she didn't have this kind of a trust that Alice or that John and Mary could have set up for her, she's on the horns of a dilemma. If she says no, Rusty, then she risks a divorce. If she says yes, Rusty, then she risks losing $250,000. But if she has a trust like this, Alice says, well, let me go ask the trustee and see if he's willing to give you the money. She's off the hook. Marriage is preserved, and so is the money. This is a great gift you can give to your kids and to your grandkids. You can give them protected money and still give them the right to the use of it for their lifetimes. Here is a portfolio of documents we put together for our clients. In here is a complete estate plan, including a trust, powers of attorney, living wills, HIPAA releases, funeral instructions, funding instructions, on and on. Under tab A of this portfolio is the trust. This particular trust is very much like the trust that I built for my daughters. I have two daughters. They're both in high school, and they will go to college. I have a provision in the trust, in the Bulletproof Trusts for Hallie and Lauren, that say, for example, under the education section, if I'm dead, my professional trustee may use funds in the trust to help my children with their college educations as long as they maintain a 3.0 out of a 4 average. No slackers allowed. It doesn't say that, but it does implicitly. When the child graduates from undergraduate school and gets a bachelor's degree, trustee shall distribute the sum of $25,000 as a graduation gift. Go have some fun. If they get a postgraduate degree, a JD, an MD, a DDS, PhD, etc., $50,000. Okay. There's a section here on career changes. If my kids get into a career that they find is dead end or just doesn't suit them, this trust will help support them for a year or two while they go retrain and get into a field that they like better. It always makes sure that the kids have health insurance and car insurance and vision insurance and dental insurance and all of the basics. Here's a provision I've got in my trust. My trustee can help my kids buy a home, but only to the extent of 33 1/3% of the down payment. You could say half, you could say 80%, or whatever you wanted to do. My kids love to travel, and so do I. That's our big extravagance in life. And my trust has a travel provision that says, trustee, if the kids come to you with any reasonable request for money to travel, give it to them. That's what they like. You can design a trust with guidelines to the professional trustee that will make this trust compassionate and available to your kids. And when they die, perhaps there'll be something left to give on down to the grandkids. And if so, the same kinds of provisions will work for them, because this trust bounces down the generational path. So we can take care of our grandkids just the way we've taken care of our kids. And if our kids happen to use all of this up because they live long and they go into retirement, fine. There's nothing left. But if they die prematurely, we have taken care of the next generation. So, if you haven't guessed it already, I'm a real fan of these kinds of trusts. And I think most every parent should take a very hard look at rethinking the idea of how do I leave my estate to my kids. I don't want them to be trust babies. You know, I've been flying coach all my life. Now all of a sudden they inherit and fly first class? Wait a minute. How do I balance that? You can do so by knowing that this option exists. So when it comes to your planning, you have to take a very hard look at this. The key to deciding who the trustee is ultimately is whether or not your kids need protection from whom? That's right. Even if you have perfect children and you couldn't imagine them getting sick or divorced or sued, bulletproof their shares anyway and make them trustees of their own shares. That way, they have full control, but nobody on the outside can get to their money in the event of a lawsuit, a divorce, or a health incident. They will love you for it, and they will plan the same way for their kids. Because this type of planning is the strongest asset protection tool we've got in American law today. For you to ignore this is, I think, an error. Now that you know about this, you will never think about planning the same way.